Go ahead. Good morning. Good morning. As usual, having little success whenever I am in this room trying to get a group to stop talking. I hope everybody's having a great morning so far. I'm really excited to be able to kick off our 16th annual McKusick lecture. Congratulations to the new students that have come in on the main track program. Welcome. Welcome to Maine. It's always this beautiful, always this nice. And I've been paid to say that. Admittedly, I just got here in January. It was a little tough in January, but you'll like it. You'll like it for the summer months, definitely. So the first thing I'd like to do is say welcome and thank you for being here. Very excited to be here. I'd like to welcome the students, welcome all the physicians, all of the administrative leaders that are here, all of the people, whether it be from Tufts University, from here at Maine Health, Maine Medical Center. We've got a lot of people here. We've got a lot of donors here. Thank you very much for what you do in philanthropy. Thank you very much for making this a reality. And this is an exciting time. It's a wonderful partnership. I've had opportunities to be part of many partnerships throughout my career. And admittedly, most of them are, you have a quarterly meeting, it takes 20 minutes, and you realize that you really don't have a partnership. You have a partnership in name only. I can tell you that based on the discussion we just had for the past hour and a half, we have a very strong partnership between Maine Health, Maine Medical Center, and Tufts University School of Medicine. We're very thankful for that partnership, and it really is a wonderful thing, and it's a great thing. The Maine track is wonderful for the people of Maine, so thank you for that. So as a non-clinician, I love looking up big words when I'm researching things, especially around Dr. McKusick, right? I went and I started looking and I said, okay, this person was born in 1921. I don't know. That's a ways, a while back. Took him 6 semesters through Tufts University for them to realize that Hopkins really wanted him to come now without a bachelor's degree. How many of you could imagine that in today's world? And all of a sudden, he then goes to med school for 3 years, not 4, because apparently he was rather gifted and could get through in 3 years. One did a cardiology residency, and at that point, he really then went into what he does best, and that was human genetics and medical genetics. And so I started reading a little bit about that, and I was like, oh, okay, 1956, apparently there was a little meeting in Copenhagen, which the medical genetics field was formed. Okay, I'm like, okay, that would be pretty cool to get invited to that meeting, let alone then to be called the father of medical genetics. So then he goes and has an illustrious career at Johns Hopkins. He was the Department of Medicine chair from 1973 to 1985. Probably got tired of doing that because that's a lot of administrative work that no one really likes to do. That's humor for those of you that are... Okay, thank you. Boy, I'm a tough crowd. Then he went back and really continued to do a lot of research and continued to do just amazing things. I've been told that never trust the Wikipedia page because you never know what you're going to see on that. I hear that you can actually have your own Wikipedia page. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have one, and I don't know how to set one up. All right? But I read something that I thought was perfect, and I wanted to read this, and if I get any of these big words wrong, I apologize. I tried to pronounce them a couple times. But I've always told my students, residents, and fellows, if you want to really get on top of some topic, you need to know how it got from where it was to how it is now. I was always strong on eponyms too, like Marfan syndrome, Freeman-Sheldon syndrome, Down syndrome, Tay-Sachs disease, etc. On rounds, the resident or student would present a patient with some particular condition, and I would always ask, so who is so-and-so for whom the disease was named? This prompts thought and research into the disease or condition itself to find out who first described it and therefore for whom it was named. Now, to me, I've talked before, and others have heard me talk about this, the tripartite mission of Maine Health, and certainly Tufts University and Tufts University School of Medicine, is you have the clinical component, you have the medical education component, and you have the research component. He was able to bring all three of those things into one simple thing, and that's to ask the students, what do you think about this, and tell me the history of this. The reason that is so critical and so important is because that then leads to better patient care, because you're going to know why you are doing something. It's going to lead to better education because someone is taking the time to spend with you one-on-one in a very quick minute. And then the research component, obviously you have to do the research to ensure that you are prepared prior to even going into the clinical setting. So I think this is a perfect way to kick off your education. I think it's the perfect person who obviously did so much in the school and the medical field. And I think it's perfect for us with our great partnership between Maine Health, Maine Medical Center, and with Tufts University School of Medicine. Before I end, I just want to, a couple things. I want to thank all the benefactors that are out there in the crowd today and that are not in the crowd that are watching either online or going to watch this later on. I want to thank you very much for what you do. We could not do this without you. One of the great things about our partnership is the financial benefit to our students. That's one of them. Certainly, it's great for the state of Maine as we have a shortage of physicians. And then the third thing is that it really is an innovative curriculum that we have, and it allows students a lot of flexibility in their third and fourth years. So with that, I'd like to welcome to the stage Dr. Helen Boucher from Tufts University School of Medicine, the Dean, and she will continue our program. So again, welcome to the students and welcome to all of you for this exciting day. Thank you.
Thanks, Britt. Good morning, everybody. I am so honored to be with you. I'm celebrating my 3rd anniversary as the Dean of the Medical School, and I couldn't be more delighted to be here to welcome you Maine Track students. I saw some of you this morning and look forward to meeting each of you by name in the next several weeks. And I'll say what I always say to the students is, when you see me, please say hello and remind me of your name, because it takes me a little while to learn all 200 names. I want to first recognize Dr. Peter Bates, who I see in the audience, who was the genesis for the Maine Track program that you are embarking upon. Peter, thank you for your vision and for making the Maine Track a reality. Let's give Peter a round. So students, you're starting an incredible journey into your career as physicians. And by choosing to come to Tufts in the Maine Track, you've made a special choice. At Tufts School of Medicine, our vision is revolutionizing health education and inspiring discovery now and for future generations. And in the Maine Track, you are going to be the recipients of really revolutionary health education. You're going to have the opportunity to participate in very unique experiences in, for many of you, longitudinal care of patients in ways that other students don't have, and that will no doubt impact your lives. You're going to take care of patients from a variety of settings, many of whom are at the margins, who need you and will need you now more than ever. So I hope that you enjoy every minute, and I'm so grateful for the partnership with all of you in Maine and helping to live out the vision that Peter created for us. I'll tell you that this morning driving up here, I think my blood pressure came down 30 points just driving up to beautiful Maine. I love coming, so invite me. I'll be happy to come back anytime. I wish you good luck. I hope you really enjoy being medical students. So my message to you today is to take advantage of everything that's offered. Even if you think you know what you want to do, that's great. But you're going to be exposed to things that I guarantee you've never seen or thought about doing. And some of you will change your mind. Some of you will say, I started out, I want to be a family medicine doc, and you'll come out being a surgeon. So keep an open mind, enjoy every minute. So with that, I'm going to turn the program over to Dr. Linda Shodrin, the Vice President of Medical Education, and Robert Bingu, Chair of Medical Education at Maine Medical Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Boucher. So I had the opportunity to welcome the students briefly yesterday, but today is truly the start of your career in medicine. This is your first lecture. Yesterday were just talks, and you know, that's all come and gone from your brains by now, but today is your first lecture. This event really does marks an exciting time, not just for you, but for your family and friends, those who are here in person and virtually, who have supported you to get here, and who will continue to support you through this journey. It's also an exciting time for our faculty. We love the beginning of the academic year, and we hope you are as excited as we are. So I'm going to just run through a few slides here just to give you a little bit of a background as to what you have come to join, and for those who maybe don't know as much about the main track. But you chose us, and we chose you as a special place, I will say, in my heart. Like Dean Boucher, I've been here 3 years, and this has been an amazing place to be. And one of the reasons for that, and one of the reasons is that we are committed to developing the future physician workforce, not only for Maine, but for New England and for rural America. As you can see, go back, thank you. As you can see, our students come from places all across the country as well as all over Maine. They also, from the map behind me, it helps you to see that not only do they train here, but they come back here or they stay here and practice in Maine. Currently, we have 81 Main Track alumni who have completed their training and are now practicing throughout Maine, as you can see. We continue to hear from former students and who are in their postgraduate training who say they want to stay or come back, and we are thrilled to continue to watch the future of Maine with our former Main Track students serving throughout the state. Okay. We do want to say thank you. Thank you to all of the educators, and as you can see, they span the state as well. We have educators and teaching sites across Maine and New Hampshire. They support not only our Main Track orientation, the competency-based apprenticeship in primary care, and the longitudinal integrated clerkships, but all of the Main Track experience. And you can see here that in 2024, our teaching sites represented more than 30 cities and towns in Maine and 60 individual healthcare sites. We could not do the work that we do to teach all of you without each and every physician, advanced practice provider, and staff member across the state, and they are the reason it is truly so special. And one of the most special things I've seen is that some of your teachers now are Main Track alumni. And that full circle is something I'm sure Peter Bates is thrilled to see. So it's your future as well, I hope. So I want to say something about our students as well. We have phenomenal students, and many of them are acknowledged with awards, not just locally, but through Tufts and nationally. And just so you can see a few who were received awards last year. Our faculty are also amazing and stellar, and we are extremely proud of them. They have received many main track awards, and these awards, I think, are particularly meaningful because they are chosen by the main track students to receive these awards. And I can say as an educator, that is the most meaningful award I could ever receive, is something where a student has felt that I've made a difference in their lives. Our faculty also receive very critical and important awards that are given by Tufts, and you can see that list here as well. So these are just a few. And our affiliated faculty with Tufts, many of them have been appointed and promoted this year, and there's a very long list that's going to go behind me here. So if you capture a name, let me know. But we are just very proud of our faculty and all the work that they do, and that they are part of the Maine Health and Tufts community. So congratulations to all of them for their promotions and appointments. So the next thing I was asked to do was introduce the Dr. Victor A. McKusick Lecture, but I don't need to do that. I think you just heard so much about it from Britt Cruz that I think it is such a wonderful opportunity. The one thing I think you might have left out, though, is what's the connection to Maine? Does anybody know the connection to Maine? Born in Parkman, Maine, correct? Yes. So you were probably thinking, he spent his career at Hopkins. Why are we talking about him? That is why. He is shall I say, a legend, and so important in healthcare and to teaching lifelong learning and discovery, as Britt said. So with that, I want you to think about Dr. McKusick's trajectory in his career, which was by no means linear, and you all will find your passion and your career path, and you will have as astounding and amazing careers as he did, and we are looking forward to seeing all that you can do. So I also want to say thank you. We are very pleased that Dr. McKusick's son, Reverend Victor McKusick, and his wife Lori are able to attend the program via live stream, and they have attended year after year, and we are so grateful for you to be here. Oh, you're here! You're not even there! Wait, go! I'm looking up there! Thank you for coming in person. I'm looking up at the live stream there. So wonderful to have you. It's terrific. And now I am just honored to introduce Lisa Sakabason as our distinguished speaker for the 16th annual Victor A. McKusick Lecture. Lisa Sakabason is a proud citizen of the Passamaquoddy tribe at Indian Township. She serves as the co-chief executive officer of Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness, which is a public health organization that serves four federally recognized tribes located in 5 communities in Maine. In her role, she collaborates extensively with tribal leaders, federal agencies, and philanthropic partners to improve the health of Indigenous communities and other communities of color. Her work focuses on addressing the systemic inequities experienced by Indigenous people, and she's known for her innovative approaches to developing culturally based programs that respond directly to the needs of diverse communities. Her leadership at the Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness exemplifies her commitment to improving health outcomes and providing opportunities for tribal populations. And today she's going to talk a little bit about data and why that is so important in the work that she does. Prior to her current role, she served in leadership roles in Maine, including as director of the Office of Health Equity in the Maine Department of Health and Human Services, as an epidemiologist in the infectious disease program for the state of Maine. She is a recognized nurse, educator, and public health advocate, and we are so fortunate to have her here today for your first ever lecture. So thank you so much for coming, and we welcome you. Help me in welcoming Ms. Lisa Sakabesa.
Our name, Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness, comes from our name Wabanaki. Wabanaki means the people who greet the first light.
We are resilient. We've gone through histories and histories of genocide, attempted genocides, and we still are here. You know, our language is still here, our culture is still here.
What I know to be true as an Indigenous person in Maine is that I don't see myself anywhere. For me, as a leader of this organization, this goal is all about visibility.
Indigenous people in this country have not had a seat at the table. All of these historical policies have led to a system where data is valued and is considered a currency and a form of power. It's how you get funding. It's how you know what's going on in your communities. But we live in a world where all of the systems were created to keep Indigenous people from accessing the data and being a part of it.
In 2000, the Bureau of Health did a study using death records to look at cardiovascular disease. That study showed that Native Americans in Maine lived long, healthy lives with very low prevalence of cardiovascular disease. The health directors at the time brought up vocally that that's not true. One health director actually brought the heads of Bureau of Health to cemeteries to show them this was not accurate. Upon second look, what they found is within the death records, people who were born in Native American died white.
We know that Wabanaki people suffer rates of health disparities that need to be improved. They are compared to their white counterparts or other counterparts, chronic disease and even acute disease, we seem to have greater disparities across the board. But the data does not reflect what the problems actually are because we are an invisible people. We are not seen in these large government, academic, and educational data sets.
There are federal resources attached to the number of people you have, and there's never enough to address the deep trauma that has been passed down by those relocation, assimilation, termination policies. That's why this work is so important.
We practice community-based participatory research within our organization, and that is really an effort to get to the community and have the community involved with that.
So when it comes to accurate and reliable data, the way we know that it's accurate and reliable is by letting the tribes be the one who collect the data.
It allows our tribal leaders, it allows our public health professionals, it allows our community members have a data system that we can trust because we know where that data came from. And for that data then to be used for empowering change, to delivering services, to developing programs, those systems, programs, policies will be the most informed because now they have access to the full story.
Hi, everyone. I want to move around. I can feel the energy in this room. It's exciting. Welcome, students, learners, for your commitment. It's hard, and you're here, and I thank you for that. My name is Lisa Sakabesa. I'm a citizen of McKusick, Indian Township, a tribal nation, well, a few hours from here, almost on the Canadian border. And I'm actually going to invite my friend Dora up here, Dr. Mills, because Dr. Mills was actually at the Bureau of Health, leading the Bureau of Health when the data report was released. And with all good intentions, sometimes we don't have all the information we need to share the entire sacred story. So I'm just gonna see what's going on for you, Dora. I haven't seen Dora in years, so this is really fun.
And she just asked me to come up like 10 minutes ago. So, but it's wonderful to be reconnected with Lisa. And this years ago, 2008, August of 2008, Lisa took me on a tour of the two Passamaquoddy nations in Washington County. I had my 6-year-old and then 9-year-old with me.
Remember that, Julia?
My 6-year-old is in the entrance class. Well, she's not 6 anymore. I should mention that. So a lot of full circles, a lot of things coming full circle. And we went to some of the blueberry barrens. Your dad took us on an afternoon boat ride on Big Lake. We saw eagles all over, the spirits of your ancestors, our ancestors. And one of the reasons we were there, as was mentioned actually in the film, was there was this preliminary study done showing some disparities, cardiovascular disease disparities amongst Native Americans in Maine. But we didn't have very good data. It wasn't comprehensive. And we have a saying in public health, I'm a public health physician, no data, no problem. If you don't have data, you don't have a problem. So Lisa took me on a tour with my 2 children of the 2 Passamaquoddy nations, and probably definitely the most impactful part of that tour was going to the cemetery in your town, in your hometown. And what I saw looking around was very different than the cemetery in my hometown of Farmington, which was lots and lots and lots of death dates that were amongst young people, very young people. It profoundly impacted me, so that when we returned together to Maine CDC, we worked together at that time, and we worked on getting more data. And if there's any message from all of this, is that your job as physicians is to see your patients, see your individual patients comprehensively as who they are, but also look at the data and put the stories that you hear, you see amongst your patients with the data. That's what Lisa taught me was so important. Thank you.
You're welcome. And this is what we're here to talk about. As Doris said, no data, no problem. Whew, that's rough for not just Indigenous people to hear, but for all people of color that now share this land. Because the truth of the matter is, Indigenous people are not the only people that are invisible in data sets. Anybody else feel invisible in data sets? Yeah, I see some hands. It's true. So when you have invisibility in some places, you have to stay curious if it's telling you the whole story. So one of the things that I did after I left state government and spent some time in philanthropy as well is I started being curious. How do we develop a system of care for Indigenous people and others, and I'll talk about that in a minute, that brings them in, centers our culture, centers old ways of healing. And so that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit today. Before I get started, I'm going to share with you the tribes, the Micmac, Maliseet, Penobscot, and Passamaquoddy, the Passamaquoddy having 2 separate communities. One, the one that both Dr. Mills and Julia visited, as well as the other, Pleasant Point. It's more on the ocean. So we have freshwater people and saltwater people. We describe ourselves by the land we come from. And so these are the tribal nations we work with. When I was working at state government, directing the Office of Health Equity, I was brought to meet the chiefs of each of these tribal nations. At the time, we started having the conversation. How do we heal? How do we heal as a community, as individuals, when our healthcare systems don't barely scratch the surface? The resources that each of the tribal health facilities are absolutely underfunded at about 40% of need now. So it's a rationed healthcare system. How do we create a system that centers our culture? So we came together because the issue that we were dealing with that was pretty dramatic at the time and still is substance use disorder. That's not the real issue. That's a bandage to cover a deep, deep wound. And how do we collectively heal those wounds? Maine looks like it was on a diet in this picture. I apologize. For those of you who are not from here, it's smushed a little bit. But those are where our communities are from, on the borders, in rural parts of the state. What I appreciated with what was shared with the map, I recognized that we haven't yet had someone practice in Washington County. I saw Piscataquis County needing some presence as well. So those are the areas we are at, very rural areas of Maine. And I will say I don't live far from here, so Indigenous people live in every county in the state as well. So it doesn't matter where you may practice, you will see Indigenous people. We started creating a system. I joined the organization 7 years ago, so not all that long ago. Seems like a long time ago because we've done a lot. 7 years ago, I had a team of 6 people. Strong people that wanted to change the healing presence of our communities. 7 years ago, 6 people, I made team number 7, now 230 something. I don't really know this week because it increases every single week. And why it increases, I believe, first, we're 70% Indigenous. We have a population of employed individuals that have been underemployed in our state for a very long time. Why do you think? I want to hear from you. Why do you think Indigenous people have been underemployed, not employed for so long? No guesses? Come on. Ooh, okay. Education, perhaps. What else? Yeah, please. Discrimination. You a student? You get an A today. Absolutely. We have had people who have been educated and still not been able to get employed. And so when we created an organization, wherever you are in your journey, we have a place for you. People said, where are you finding people? We can't find anyone to work. And yeah, we still have some difficulty in certainly our nursing area. But for the most part, finding people is not the problem. We knew we needed to create a system that addressed historical trauma. Brett, you mentioned earlier about history and the importance of history. And I was like, yes, that's exactly right. Know your history. Never did I think, I was a science person, never did I think that was so important until years later. Knowing your history, recognizing the relationships that have allowed you to be in the spaces and places you take up is so important. Understanding the history of peoples and how the systems have either supported them or not, right? I mentioned in the film RAT policies. Have you heard of RAT policies from the US government before? Relocation, assimilation, termination. Termination meaning kill us. Those are real policies. Some of them having their impacts today, some of them still in place today. And so this issue of historical trauma is so important to understand because understanding that history and where people's generations have come from, their ancestors have come from, explains part of the story. Generational strength. So we knew that building a system, we had to understand that history. However, we did not want to build a system based on that history. We wanted to build a system based on generational strength, right? That power that was already handed down to us by our ancestors, giving us all we need to know to heal, to thrive. Old lessons in those ceremonies, in our language, in the way we heal, in the way we treat each other. So we started creating quickly. Like I said, 7 years, bringing well over 200 more people to the table is a big job. And we started thinking about our infrastructure. What did we need to focus on? And what we knew to be true is that if we listened to the community, always, that we would know what to build. And this is what we built. We built public health. We have communities in our state that have had dirty water out of their faucets for, well, over 40 years, 40. So public health and clean water was a big, big area, maternal child health as well. Health and wellness, a lot of harm reduction strategies, needle cleanups and access, counseling, peer services. Healing and recovery is all centered around substance use disorder and healing. That's expanding as well, because what we're seeing is that not everybody has substance use disorder, but it's almost universal that we have trauma. And what are we doing there? How equipped are we to deal with that? Taking off that bandage of substance use disorder and dealing with the wound underneath is something we are beginning to explore with Bradley Hospital in Southern New England and others coming to the table to see what kind of system we can build there. And then Wabanaki Research, Knowledge, and Innovation. One of the things, too, we're invisible in research. And we also know if we create our own research infrastructure, we create our own researchers in community. That story that you shared, that people who have come through this program are now faculty, that's exactly what's supposed to happen, right? So this researching and building that team within community is what we're all about. So major partnership with the National Institutes of Health, doing a lot of work around Alzheimer's brain health, and the aging indigenous brain, as well as language requisition and many other things. This is our organizational chart. I want you to take it in. I want you to compare it to others you've seen. I want you to notice that nobody is on the top, and this can roll. This is about us healing. Yes, our patients, ourselves, but our communities. And so our org chart, I believe, is beautiful. And if you can say the same, I want to see it. And if not, I want you to be creative. And maybe you can't with all the systems and structures that you have, but you can function differently. You can be in deep relationship with each other. This is our healing campus. So again, when I started, we had we didn't even have we rented one place, a space in one building, and now we have about 14 different locations across the state. Another thing I'd like to see change in those slides that were shared, Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness is not yet one of those sites for physicians. I want to welcome you. So the gathering place, a beautiful place I'll share with you, a place where we knew if we were going to heal, we needed land. We don't heal inside. We don't heal in structures. We heal outside. And we knew we needed to reconnect with the land, so this is 50 acres along the sacred Penobscot in the Millinocket territory, and this is where we're growing our traditional foods. This plant in the middle, does anyone know what that is? No. It's one of our sacred medicines. It might surprise you that we grow it. Yeah, way back. Yeah, tobacco. Absolutely. Reconnecting with that sacred plant, teaching our young people as well as our elders and people in recovery and other non-Indigenous people what that plant was intended for, how that plant has been completely colonized into something so harmful. So let's grow it again. Let's teach again. That's tobacco cessation. For us, that's tobacco cessation. So beautiful facilities here. I encourage you to come by. It's a place where you can, this is the Maliseet Tribal Ambassador relaxing, coming by to rest. We believe in rest. Do you all believe in rest? Yeah, we all believe in rest. Making sure that the people providing the healing have an opportunity to heal themselves. I don't want someone serving me who needs support. I want them to get the support they need. And then let's do this together. So we provide spaces that provide that rest and healing. Also at this facility, like what I said, wherever you are in your journey, we have a place for you. So if you want to sleep underneath the stars in a sleeping bag, we've got you. If you want to sleep in a yurt without a bathroom and rough it a little bit, we got you. And if you want something a little bit more relaxing, we're making modern day wigwams for people who want that too. Our elders, anyone. We created these through a competition with an architectural firm out of the Northeast, and everyone participated in creating green, Maine-based, affordable structures. We have a housing crisis. Housing will impact the health of the people you see. And being creative every step of the way to think about those 7 generations that we will never meet, leaving this place even more beautiful than it was when we arrived, is our goal. On this property, too, it's a place where we grow our sacred medicines, right? In some native languages, the term for plants translates to those who take care of us. Just think about that. And those plants can only take care of us if we're taking care of those plants home. And in Maine, the way life should be, we're poisoning our earth. And thinking about that and how that impacts the people that you see is important. Whoops, going backwards. Let me go forward here. We're growing our foods. We have a traditional food program where big greenhouses, this truck travels to each of the communities, reestablishing relationships with food, taking away the shame of needing to get boxes of food. This is a celebration. What I get is messages when somebody didn't get their box. And what we do when we come to town is create that non-stigma celebration for people to get what they need, whether it's diapers, food, books for their children. This is our Healing Lodge, a place I would love to welcome people. This is in Millinocket as well. Intensive outpatient treatment, case management, substance use services in this lodge. And when we created this lodge, what we did is we brought in people from the community and we asked questions like, what do you want to smell when you walk through the door? What do you want to sit on? What do you want to hear? What do you want to drink? All of those things were attended to before we talked about services. Our Family and Friends Connection Center, a beautiful center that is being renovated right now, which will be a place for families to come heal. Post-trauma, substance use disorder, moms with babies, dads with children. This is a place that will welcome a more comprehensive approach because, as I said, wherever you are in your journey, we have a place for you. So as we build services, we begin to see who's left out. And one thing we will never do is make anyone invisible in our communities, and if we can, in other communities too. Recovery housing, people need housing, they need care for a long time. So we have houses in Bangor, as well as Millinocket and other places, beautiful homes. We believe that people deserve beauty. We believe that just walking into a space, you can heal. You can put your shoulders down a little bit, breathe a little bit deeper, pay attention to the things around you when you create the beauty for people. We also knew we were losing people. At the beginning of people's substance use disorder journey, oftentimes substance or medication-assisted withdrawal services are needed. What was detox services not too long ago. So we created a 10-bed facility so we would not lose people throughout that difficult journey. This is one of the most difficult parts of that journey, the beginning. And we knew if we were sending them out to other healthcare places, which there are not a lot of detox facilities in Maine, they are growing, which is amazing, we would lose them. So when we would send our folks into big centers for this type of treatment, we often would have to find them in the cities that they were in after. And so trying to learn from that and create a system that keeps people where they're at. The gathering place of Bangor, we have a beautiful property, as I said, in Millinocket for that land, and we needed the place in Bangor too. So this is about a 25-acre property along the Kunduskig stream that we're in the process of renovating now. Places to come and heal. One of the other things that I get requests on a weekly basis is, can I get a hotel room in Portland? I have an appointment at Maine Med. I have treatment in Bangor. Folks are coming hours and hours away, and I'm a nonprofit and do not have money for hotels. So we had to think creatively. So this is this will be a 25-bed inn, Indigenous beautiful inn, where people, when they have appointments, at least in Bangor, which is the most of our requests, even though Portland and Boston are on there too, there'll be a place for them. So continuum of care is so important. This is our continuum of care statement. Always making sure the people that are invisible, feel invisible, are cared for. We have a 24/7 warm line. People can call anytime and get whatever they need met. When trauma happens in community, we show up. We show up with prayer, we show up with food, we show up with sacred healing circles and fires and sweat lodges. What we don't want after one trauma is a reoccurrence of an event. And we've lost a lot of people in our communities that way, so we had to address that. This is an amazing system. It was just activated over the weekend because of a tragedy in the Mi'kmaq community, and it saved lives, no doubt, in my mind. Recovery-ready communities, so build systems of care for people to come, but when you send them back home, and this goes for anything, somebody comes in for asthma and you send them back home, and there's mold. So how do we create communities that are addressing all of those public health issues for individuals? So what else is needed and what's in development? Passamaquoddy people, Wabanaki people, we're verb-based people. We move. We move fast. We realize that we're here for one generation and we're here to serve 7. We know that we need to love this earth as much as we love all those other things that we may love to be human. So these are what is in development. More recovery homes, of course, cultural centers in Bangor and Millinocket so people can come in and learn. In Bangor, I'll share, did I show? This is our cultural center. It used to be an old department store. Some of you might have been in it in Bangor. It's a large building. And we're creating a cultural center. What we believe to be true is that Wabanaki culture values is healing for all people. That was the culture of this land. It healed this land and the people too. And we believe we need to provide that knowledge and maybe move back towards some of those values. So these are renderings of that space that we're currently developing now, a place where you can climb Mount Katahdin indoors, see all the trees in Maine indoors. Unfortunately, we spend 3/4 of our time, if not more, indoors, and the outdoors heals. So we're gonna just bring it on in for people to see, and hopefully send you out with some of our staff. There'll be a river indoors too, but we'd rather take you out. There'll be a mountain indoors too, but we'd rather climb it with you. I know you've climbed it a few times, Dr. Mills. We also want to share our food. There'll be a cafe. our values, our art, providing all of us the opportunity to heal from what we've seen over 7 years. We've never seen anything like it, from 7 to 230 plus. Programs growing every single day. It's hard work, but it's the right work. And I join you in your learning and helping me in my learning as we move forward. Willie One, thank you. And I'll end there. And Caitlin, you'll have to tell me if there's any time for questions. Any questions? Is there a microphone? Or no, that's a camera over there. You're going to have to speak loud, but I'll repeat it. Questions, comments? Yeah, please. Yeah, I'm working really closely with the Department of Health and Human Services at the federal level. I travel a lot. We're talking to a lot of tribes. What Wabanaki Public Health and Wellness has built and what we've been able to do collectively with our tribal nations is like no other places in the nation. And so trying to bring that knowledge, trying to build. We're also working really closely with immigrant and refugee communities in the state of Maine. They are invisible in data sets until something goes really wrong, like COVID, worse racial disparities in the nation. And it was worse than what was reported. And how can we serve there? How can we learn from the community-based participatory research work that we're doing to help serve and build their capacity? So we're working with about 24 organizations right now that are entering into a community health needs assessment so they can have accurate data and stories on their communities. They can control that narrative. So yes, absolutely, for Indigenous people, you have to become the teachers to be able to really see that work full circle. Yeah, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Well, I thank you all, and best of luck on your journey. And really, I'll be lighting smudge and thinking about you guys. This is the first day of an amazing, amazing journey for you all. Willie One.
Thank you so very much for what it was just an incredibly beautiful and poignant first lecture for our students and for all of us. Truly, thank you. For those that I have not met yet, my name is Dina Weitzel, and I'm the Assistant Dean for Students for the main track. And I have the pleasure of introducing the main track class of 2028. So if our main track leadership could come up and help distribute stethoscopes. Right. Omar Abdul Jalil. Kevin Bonanno. Alexander Servone. Elizabeth D'Angelo. Caitlin Deming. Julia Catherine Fiore. Rika Goto. Cecilia Guadalupe. Sahar Habibzai. Emma Hagenars. Mary Hester. Jack Hoover. Eliza Kloss. Catherine Leggett Barr. Isabel May. Julia Milks. Miriam Mindell. Sean Mitchell. Bilan Muhammad. Abigail Muller. Brian Nestor. Mary Noyes. Sebastian Rafat, sorry. Caitlin Reiners. Stephen Rizak. Lucy Rickerich. Anna Root. Erica Schlichting. Janelle Sewell. Jillian Sheltra. Allison Sickles. Julia Slane. Colin Sullivan. Arihant Talaparetti. Peyton Tran. Audrey Tsai. Abigail Varney. Chloe Veyu. Olivia Whitaker. And Harrison Wilson. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. It's really great to get this class started. So you guys are awesome. We're looking forward to working with you over the next 4 years and then welcome you in April of 2028 to celebrate your graduation. And every year I like to come up here and give you your first homework assignment, unless they've already gotten one. Have they gotten a homework assignment yet? Okay, all right. So in honor of Lisa Sakabason, who I learned a lot from, Victor McKusick was one generation, but he was here for 7. Did I say that right? Yeah. And so you are part of his student body, so to speak. So your first homework assignment is to report back to us what your favorite gene is. Now, maybe some of you have already figured out what your favorite gene is, but genetics plays a role in medicine, but also genes become targets of therapy independent of Mendelian inheritance. And Victor McKusick, as the founder of genetic medicine, created a website that you all have to go check out. Now, last year's graduating class, I did ask for the homework, and I had one student. Now, we haven't made it a requirement for graduation to complete this homework assignment. So everybody graduated, but only one person gave me back the homework of telling me what their favorite gene was. And you have 4 years. Like, this is, I mean, almost 4 years to do this. So Victor McKusick, he created this portfolio of work that became the online Mendelian Inheritance in Man website, OMIM. It's now curated by the National Library of Medicine, and it's a wonderful website, and you can find wonderful things on there, and almost every page ends with Victor McKusick, 1976, updated in 2018 by so-and-so. He did an amazing amount of work that was here for us and you as the next generation of physicians. So that's your homework assignment. Looking forward to hearing from you. You can turn it in anytime between now and April of 2028. Really, congratulations to all of you, and we have a reception outside, and I think we're asking the students to stick around for a picture. Yes. Great. Well, welcome.
Are we sitting back down?